My name's Eric Sexton. I'm a commercial real estate broker, and this is how my motorcycle actually got me business when I was traveling in Dubai. I would have never thought that travel and motorcycle travel would have transitioned into deals. Anybody who knows me knows I love to travel, and I love renting motorcycles any place I end up. And over the last couple of years, I've really grown a fondness for the UAE, is where Dubai is, and even places like Saudi Arabia and Oman. And by going there multiple times over the last really decade, I've always liked to find local business, not really for the intention of cultivating business at home, which is, Nevada and California, where I'm a broker, but I just like to pop into commercial brokerages or law firms. I just reach out to people on LinkedIn and tell them I'm a commercial broker in Las Vegas, and I'd like to know what the local market looks like. This doesn't mean an official meeting. Often I'll show up on my motorcycle or in shorts. Maybe we meet up for a coffee for 20 minutes, but it's really interesting to learn how they do things in their market. And a lot of times it gives me good ideas on how they operate there and execute those things in my own market. I've done it with marketing. I've done it with packages, just a method of doing business that's typically not done in my local market. By building up my network, I have learned that there are people who invest in the US, and especially over the last couple of years, places like Dubai have had a massive increase in property value and wealthy people moving there from Europe and Asia. And as that market has grown, I've realized that people in that part of the world want to invest in the US. And also a new thing is, I don't think it's ever been more connected with certain countries in the Middle East and the US. Even like Donald Trump was talking about some Saudi funds investing about $600 billion in the US. And even there's a developer in Dubai called Demak. They announced, I believe with Trump, talking about a $200 billion investment into the US. And obviously these are really big numbers. And when you're talking of that scale, that's great. Those are big deals, but there's also smaller scale investments. Somebody actually reached out to me a couple months ago, and they were telling me that they've had a really good run in Dubai. They've bought some residential properties and they've tripled in value, and they want to diversify where they invest in real estate. We're looking at places like Las Vegas and Texas. So I never thought that going from riding motorcycles in Dubai or Oman would translate into somebody sending me a message saying, hey, can you help me underwrite these properties? And what do you think of these properties? And that job wasn't just me brokering in those markets. It's more turned into a role of like, let me work with you and find local resources. So let's say somebody wants to buy something in Texas. I'm not a broker in Texas. I don't really know that market. But the good news is I know the questions to ask and I know the people to call. So based on people I met just riding motorcycles around, I've flown down to Texas and met people from Dubai and had meetings with brokers on their investment criteria, what kind of investments they're buying as far as long-term or value add. All those things vary, but knowing those local resources is super important. And I would have never guessed that business opportunities would come from just my love of traveling, but even just being on a flight. I was flying back from Dubai at the end of 2024, and my connecting flight from Dallas, Texas to Las Vegas, I was actually sitting next to a industrial developer. He was wearing his commercial real estate vest, and we had a conversation about what he was doing, and he asked where I was coming from. I had mentioned that was my layover from Dubai, and he was saying that they actually have somebody in the region that is there to raise money for investments in the US, which I didn't even think of. So just having a conversation with somebody sitting next to me on an airplane sparked a conversation about me even potentially helping them raise some money in the US when I go over there. I've built a pretty good network just, again, by traveling with no intention of really making money, but more just learning about how they operate there. So if you travel a lot or you're trying to build a business in this kind of factor, my suggestion would be is just reach out to professionals in the places you like to travel. I'll use NAI as an example. We have offices in the Caribbean, and there's people who literally do retail on these random islands, and they tell me that they take boats to go show retail space, and I would have never guessed that, but I asked the question and got invited to go, explore with those things. And I don't know if I get a deal from those guys or not, but it was really interesting to learn it. I'm in commercial real estate, but you could be in selling coffee. If you want to learn how other people do it, just reach out to people on social media, show up and just say, hi, I'm a coffee owner from Las Vegas, and you happen to be in, I don't know, let's say Italy. Ask if the manager or owner's there and see if they have any tips that would run their success. If it's a busy coffee shop, maybe they do pastries really well, or maybe they focus on Wi-Fi or culture, or they have some sort of specialty espresso you could bring home. So travel, but add an element in of networking, not so much to make immediate money, but just to learn a new way of doing your trait. And somebody else in a different area just might have that magic ingredient that puts you to the next level.